Hello everyone to another episode of jacking, not jacking, but of Catherine and Nicola. We're playing Donut County today, which is a very cute little game by Annapurna Games, which is a game studio. It's got a lot of cute little things going on. If you can't tell, especially from the music. But I'm going to make sure that I share this onto Twitter so you guys can see it. The little link that we got. But yeah, Donut County is a very cute little game. It's very simple, but I really like the sort of comfortable aesthetic, and the dialogue is very catchy and sort of silly. Well, not exactly catchy, it's a little bit snappy. But I really hope that you guys enjoy this game through. We're just gonna play as much as we can. It's not a very long game. You can probably finish it in about an hour or two. But yeah, that's it. I'm gonna start in just a moment. Let me just make sure that everything is set up. And I'm gonna share the link to the...
Hi guys, I'm here too.
Yes, Nicola is here as well. She's just in the background. We were gonna try to do a share play. Yeah. Backseat gaming. We were gonna try to do a...
Okay.
We were gonna try to do, like a little playthrough, with share play, but then it told us that we can't. That we can't broadcast and we can't share. There's a little... Oh, ducks. There is a... Oh, whatchamacallit, a little achievement if you duck. If you just quack. I swear, I've played this probably like a few times. It's quite cute.
I've never actually played it. I mean, this is technically me just watching it for the first time, so. Watching this stream via my phone, because I did try and watch it via my console, like through YouTube, but my brain was getting tripped out because I could hear Catherine on the party headset and via the TV, which was coming through the controller into the headset. So I thought, no, I can't do this.
Honking man woke me up. Yeah, it's... I really wish that we could share play while we broadcast, but I understand why you can't.
It's technology for it.
Yeah, that's it. I don't really know terribly a whole lot about the background of this game. I do remember that it's sort of I do remember that it is one of those cute, like when I first saw it I was just like, yes, definitely I need to I need to play this. This is definitely something that I want to play. And so we when I bought it, uh I thought that it was absolutely adorable. As you can see, it's very simple. Eh. You're
I
welcome.
always think like with games like that, it's just like the simplicity behind it that it's got its own little charm.
Yeah, I was actually planning on having us play through uh what what remains of Edith Finch.
That is a strange one.
Yeah, I guess it's about family curses and things like that. But
Fairly depressing. It's a fairly depressing game I found.
yeah, it is. Come here, donut man. Yeah, honking.
We're here for the donuts.
That's my response to possibly killing a man.
Speaking of co-op, I think that's Untitled Goose now available. Like to co-op, I think.
Yeah, it is. It's available on co-op. The co-op came out at the end of September, I believe.
I love that game. It's so silly.
It is. Oh, I was able to duck a whole bunch.
Don't you?
I swear, I'll keep going. Guess what? Duck.
Yep, goose.
Yeah, it's now available. It came out at the end of September. So that is also something that we are planning on playing in November, I believe. But right now we're going through our regular games. I wish I had more spooky games to play for you guys. I don't have the Resident Evil collection with, or, yeah, I got it, Quack Enthusiast. Quackson Celebration. But yeah, I wish that I had the RE collection for like the PlayStation 4, so then me and Nicola can play through Resident Evil 5. They can do co-op on that. Or Resident Evil 6. There's co-op on that as well. Hello, Crimson Penguin. But yeah, it's the little trash panda BK. I vibe with that.
You doing voices?
No, I'm not gonna try to read it. But I can if you want to.
Nah, I was already trying to do voices on Dream Daddy,
Uh-huh.
and by God, I fluffed a lot of lines.
I think that I should be able to read this. It's gonna be. How could you smash my quadcopter? But yeah, I really enjoyed this game. I think it's absolutely adorable.
Who cares about your stupid quadcopter? How could you destroy the entire town?
So, Donut County, from what you see of the residents, they're kind of a little strange. Strange looking, but also them themselves are a little weird.
Some of the best games are a little weird though.
Yeah, well, these residents, I think it's just because of where they live. They're very eccentric. Everybody who lives here. I mean, Mira seems to be the only human in the
Like
town.
Kind of like Animal Crossing almost.
Yeah, kind of like it. It does have that vibe where it's sort of like Animal Crossing, because you have like these animals, and then you have yourself who is the human, and then you have animals, but also like statues and things like that. You know. But yeah, it's definitely it's definitely one of those things. I always thought it was silly. Oh goodness, excuse me. It's a long day. How's everyone today? How are you, Nicola? Doing okay?
Yeah, for the most part. I'm just plodding along as usual. I think me and a friend are arranging a spa day at some point, but you know,
Ooh, that sounds fun. I've never been to a spa. There's
by
one.
by spa day it means there's a
Pizza?
gym, like a local gym nearby that
Yes.
does, you know, spa treatments, so it's affordable. So
I mean, there's nothing
compared
wrong with
com
that.
compared to the big fancy ones, I mean, the big fancy ones are fine and all that. I mean, about this time about a year ago,
Hmm.
I went on a spa day with the same friend, and it looked really nice. But obviously, this was like pre-COVID, so a lot
Yeah.
of things are no
Different.
go. So
Yeah, like there's this Korean bathhouse slash spa in Atlanta that I want to go to. I think it's called GGB, something like that. Oops, sorry. Uh-oh. But yeah, they
cold-blooded murder, that.
definitely bothering There we go. But yeah, it's a Korean bath, because it's got a little bathhouse and swimming pool and things like that. And I wanted to go, but you know, this was of course pre like COVID, so I never got around to actually going. I'd like to go now, but I don't think it would be anything different.
Yeah.
Given that all the restrictions and things like that, so it'd probably be very very limited in terms of spa, what's available.
Because with the government guidelines, at least for Scotland anyway, because we've got our own healthcare system,
Hmm.
pretty much the same as it is in England, but Yeah, I think they're saying it's STEM goes for like, you know, like beauty salons, like local beauty salons that do like facial treatments.
Yeah.
Disappointing. Because, yeah, my skin, my lily white skin is dry and just, I try to keep on top of it, but I sound like my mother when I say exfoliate. Should exfoliate. My god, she was right.
Yeah,
Oh.
I've been trying to keep up with my skincare. I mean, I know it's sort of one of those things where you're just like, um, you take it for granted, I guess.
Yeah.
Because when you go out and about, um, when you go out and about, you know, you go out into like excuse me, sorry.
Have a garbage day.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Well, I mean, when you go out and about, you know, something that you do is you wash your face. You know, you take a bath, you wash your face, you go outside, or you take a bath and wash your face when you like come back in. And
Hmm.
then it's since because nobody was going anywhere, um, you know, like a lot of like the routines, like the routines that we built up are just sort of choose a wayside.
Hmm.
Like, oh, let's see. Something that goes to the wayside, like you know, putting on really nice clothes or putting on pants.
Hmm.
Like if you're so used to putting on like to not wearing pants when you get home, like that's immediately something that I do. I just go,
Hmm.
I'm home. Yeah. Just but yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it's you know like a lot of the stuff that we do is just sort of it's not as existent as it was before.
Hmm.
You know, like things that could have been like an email, that joke like, oh, this should have just been an email and it could have gotten done instead of us having like a meeting is
Hmm.
one of those things where it's people are learning that yeah, of course, this could have been done in an email instead of me having to stay late at work to you know to go to like a meeting and things like that. You saw a pup. I imagine all of these little guys have like country accents except for Mira.
Hmm.
But I forgot. Um, there's something I forgot to do. I think I forgot to do something today. I'll remember it later. Like the dead of night, like, oh, I forgot.
Kind of
It's
like
okay though.
almost like one of those moments, like when you're watching a movie or TV show and you see an actor and you think, where have I seen them before? I've
Hmm.
seen them. Where? Then it could be like weeks later, and then out of nowhere you go, that's where I've seen them.
That's right. I saw them here.
Or the weirdest one I find is like if you've something, whether it's movie or TV, you've seen it countless times. You
Hmm.
know the script like the back of your hand. You could have watched it since you were a kid, but then you could watch it again and then recognize an actor in it, and you think, how did I not realize? How did I not realize? It's like, I don't know, I can remember watching a movie in school. Uh,
Hmm.
it was, what was it called again? I think it was called The Life and Death of David Gale.
Mhm.
It was a movie about like the death penalty in America, and it had Kate Winslet and Kevin Spacey.
Mhm.
About a guy who's on death row for murder and assault of this woman who's a friend of his.
Yeah.
And Kate Winslet was obviously, she was like I think she was a journalist.
Mhm.
But you know, stuff happens, yada yada. I'm not gonna give away the no. But not sure if anybody would want to watch a Kevin Spacey movie now. But yeah. But I didn't recognise Jim Beaver in it until after it was pointed out to me. I think it was on IMDb or something. I thought, wait, he was in that? And I like searched it up on YouTube and thought, that's weird because I had no idea. It's like if only I'd been watching Supernatural at the time, I would have recognised it, but I don't think. Yeah, I wouldn't have been watching Supernatural at the time when I saw that movie, actually. It just always kind of blows my mind that Kevin Spacey was the voice of the grasshopper in Bug's Life. Oh, perfect.
Was he? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah,
Like,
he was Hopper.
oh, I thought. No, I'm thinking about. I guess I'm thinking about a different movie that involved ants. One that had like
Are you thinking
Woody.
about the Woody Allen one?
Yeah, I'm thinking about that one. That one was weird.
Yeah.
When I was like a kid,
Wasn't JLo in that?
yeah, she was. She was.
Sly Stallone, he was in it, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was in it as well. It was.
The great Christopher Walken was in it as well. I think I've not seen that one in years. Funnily enough, I've not seen Bugs Life in years either. So
um. Oh, geez. I'm trying to remember. So the first time that I heard of ants was when as a kid, I had just gotten home from like the school. Like I just got off the bus and I was walking home, and when I got back to my house, there was a package that was addressed to me, and it was the movie Ants, and it said that I had won like a giveaway, but I don't remember putting my name in for a giveaway, and I was like, oh, okay, so I won a movie, and so I was like, okay, so this is back when like VHSs and things like that were still around. DVDs were just starting to come up, but most of the time it was a VHS is what you would find.
I can't remember. Sure, Ants and Bugs Life came out around about the same time.
Yeah,
I know it was late. I want to say it was late 90s. Like it was either 98 or 99. I want to say 98.
I think in
I remember seeing
98.
I remember seeing Bugs Life in the cinema, and I was give or take about 5 years old or something thereabout. But I remember seeing Tarzan in the cinema. I remember that very well because yeah, it made my cousin cry. It made her cry.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say why, but if you've seen Tarzan, you might know why. But good movie. That's a really underrated Disney movie, I'd say.
Yeah, I think A Bug's Life came out in 1998. And then, the Ants movie came out in like 1999, maybe 2000.
Yeah.
Because I remember I had gotten that from middle school. So I had gotten I was in middle school in the early 2000s. Um,
Mhm.
so I was like, okay, so I think I was about sixth grade or so in like 2000 or so. But yeah, it's one of those weird sort of like movies because I don't know, it just doesn't feel like a kids movie. Like with The Bug's Life,
No.
it's a kids movie. You can tell it's a kids movie. But with Ants was like I don't know.
Lot of, there's like a lot of weird dark moments in it I can remember. Like the
Yeah.
two parts I could remember at least was the bit where oh I can't remember what Woody Allen ant was called. I'm just gonna call him Woody Allen because it's essentially it. But
Mhm.
when they went off to war to fight the termites, I think it was, and
Yeah.
yeah, that was messed up that segment. Uh, and I think the segment where they came across the picnic blanket and the two wasps appeared, and then one of them got squished by like a fly swatter thing.
Mhm.
I think it was the wasp wife or something like that, and I remember thinking, oh, okay. No, it's not the most disturbing movie I've seen as a kid, but no, no. The title for that one goes to Return to Oz. Because, oh, good God. I didn't grow up in the 80s. I was born in the early 90s, so kids that went through the 80s clearly made of strong stuff because, oh, the stuff that you have to be exposed to, like movie-wise, oh,
Um.
what the hell was Return to Oz? Seriously, if you've not seen it, check it out. But if you've seen it, you know what I mean. I just need to say a few select words in regards to Return to Oz. Wheelers, Princess Mombi. Princess Mombi scared the bejesus out of me as a kid. And that I saw that movie right when I was in the middle of a Wizard of Oz phase. I'd like watched my VHS of the Judy Garland version for like about 2 weeks, and
Mhm.
then came across Return to Oz, and I thought, oh, it's like the Wizard of Oz, expecting Yellow Brick Road, singing Munchkins, yada yada.
Mhm.
Nope, nope. I didn't know the concept of 80s kids movies at all at the time. Now I do.
Yeah, there's something special. I say that as a kid who grew up in the 80s. I don't know if you guys I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm older than Jackie, and it's just kind of, you know, it's kind of funny because I don't sound it, I don't look it, but I'm older than them. But yeah, it was very fat water.
It almost reminds me of the little bird in that Simpsons episode where
Mhm.
Homer makes himself fat on purpose to get on disability. And it's the bird that he leaves at the desk at his computer screen, and it's just like pecking away at the computer keyboard.
But yeah, yeah, it's very cute.
Oh, that avatar reminds me of, is it Rossetti? Mr. Rossetti in Animal Crossing?
Hmm.
That little mole guy that, pops up and screams at you if you don't save. I hate that guy.
Yeah. Um, it looks like a mole. Like, like one of those little ground moles. Um, let's see. I was gonna say something. Ah, 80s movies. That's it.
Yeah.
But okay, so I'm older than Jackie and Nicola by like a couple of years. So I grew up in the tail end of the 80s, early 90s. Honestly, the early 90s up until about 1996 were basically still the 80s.
Hmm.
You know, like it was basically still the runoff of the 80s. Like we
I
were
mean,
still wearing windbreakers and those weird jean jackets until about 1996, and then that's when like the fashion started to change to something else.
didn't The Witches, did that not come out in like, I don't know, 1990 or something?
Yeah, I think it was like 1993 maybe.
That's another messed up kids movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of like sort of dark children's movie like what you call it Never Ending Story
Hmm.
had like some very dark moment. Oh, Coyote is you.
I'm trying to think of any other. Did you not say like a lot of the Don Bluth movies were essentially kind of like 80s movies before they
um
got a bit meh? And
well,
obviously you've got like An American Tale, you've got The First Land Before Time. Um, but I mean to say Secret of Nim. People say that's good.
yeah, it's the Don Blue films came out, I want to say around the late 70s, early 80s, and it just
Hmm.
kind of continued it from there. So, like, All Dogs Go to Heaven, The Rats of Noon, um, Thumbelina,
Oh
and
yeah, I love. I don't care what anybody says. That's a cute film.
Troll in Central Park.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like Don Bluth movies that I had the VHS for that were essentially my childhood. And
Anastasia.
hmm so and you can tell it's a Don Bluth film because they have like a certain way that they animate their characters and a certain look they have for them.
All the guys look the same. All the guys look like Dimitri from Anastasia.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, the little girls are cute the way that they draw them because they usually draw them with like short hair and sort of
Hmm.
very chubby cheeks. Like the little girl from A Troll in Central Park or the little girl from All Dogs Go to Heaven. But yeah,
Hmm.
they all came out about like the late 70s, early 80s, and through there. Um, and I would say probably all the way up until maybe like the 2000s or like 1998 or so, they had really good like animations. And
Hmm.
before, but I think that was before he had passed away or before like his production company got bought out. I want to
Hmm.
say got bought out by another studio. There's a
There's one really underrated animated film, and I regard it as one of my like top animated movies.
hmm,
That aren't Disney, should I say? Um, even though I'm not religious at all.
Mm-hmm.
The Prince of Egypt.
Yeah. Like, that was really good.
That has got to be one of the greatest openings to a film ever. It's like on par with, you know, Lion King and Saving Private Ryan in my opinion, but and I know I just put Saving Private Ryan in amongst two animated movies that are marketed predominantly to kids, but can't talk about movie openings without talking about Saving Private Ryan. That's my dad's fault. He got me into kind of like that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I used to watch a lot of like VHSs with my sisters, like Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday we would, or mostly just Friday night and Saturday we would just, it would be our lazy days. You know, we would finish out our homework, or in one of my sister's cases, she wouldn't do her homework until Sunday, and then we would just relax, watch movies, eat popcorn, just super relaxed. And I always like doing it. You know, like I always like having those times with my sister and things like that. Just like watching all of those VHSs that we have. And we still have them. They're still at my parents' house. There's a way to convert VHSs into like DVDs or Blu-rays, but I think it takes a specific to do so. Because a lot of those movies don't have Blu-rays or DVDs yet. But like Beethoven, you know, the movie with the dog, Beethoven. I don't think Thumbelina has one. I know the last few Land Before Times had them, but not the first one. So there's a lot of like stuff that we had that I remember as a kid, and sort of like the traditions that we do as children. Just like Fridays we watch movies or eat pizza. Saturdays we wake up early and eat like cereal and watch cartoons on the TV. Or if we're a little bit older, we do our chores and then sit and watch TV and relax. Or we go and visit family or something like that. Or those are the days that we do like sports. So yeah, I always thought it was interesting.
I mean, my friend and I, when we were younger, if we were doing like a movie marathon, it was usually Jim Carrey movies. We'd watch like, you know, Dumb and Dumber, we'd watch Liar Liar, one of the Ace Venturas. It would always end with us watching, it was usually Bruce Almighty that we watched. Because Bruce Almighty is just brilliant, I love that. Not seen it in a while actually. Same with a lot of Jim Carrey movies, but I think personal favourite is obviously, gotta love Ace Ventura, it's just so silly. And then Dumb and Dumber. The first one, the second one, do not watch the second one. The second one is just, it's painful. I seen that in the cinema and I regretted it. I'm thinking, they've waited 20 years to do a sequel for this, and it sucks. Because the humor just, ooh, not funny at all, and characters which were originally, you know, likable, they were just assholes. In the sequel, and I'm thinking, what have they done? What have they done to this? I think there was an honest trailer done about it, actually. And then part of that honest trailer that makes me laugh because it's so true is just when they say the best part of the movie is during the end credits when they show you clips from the first movie. And it's like, yeah, that's true.
Sometimes it's like that, you know.
Because I would say like the sequel, it's cringe humor, but not in the good way when you say cringe humor. Because sometimes cringe humor it can be funny, depending on how it's handled. Like for example, if you're in the UK, chances are you might have watched the Inbetweeners, you might not have, but I would say that's a hallmark, well not necessarily a hallmark, that's a prime example for cringe humour, because it is just so awkward. It's so awkward and it's painful and you feel bad for laughing half the time. But no. Dumb and Dumber 2 just... no. Stay away from that. Just keep your memory pure of the first one. There is no second one. There is no second one. It's like I'm insisting to myself that there's only 3 Indiana Jones movies. There is no 4th one. I've not watched that one. Because I've heard enough about it to make me not want to watch it. Personally, because I don't really like Shia LaBeouf as an actor. I don't know what it is. I don't know, but you know, that's my personal opinion. But you know, most of he's a bad guy or anything like that. But no.
Well, it's what?
Oh God, what is all that?
Bunny rabbits.
Cats?
Those are
Cats?
bunnies.
Rabbits?
Yeah, those are little bunnies. Remember? I was collecting them while we were talking.
Oh. I'll tell you another movie that I've not seen in a long time. It was a personal, I don't necessarily say favourite of mine, but I remember watching it as a kid. George of the Jungle.
Yeah. I've seen 2 of them. I think there's 3 movies. 3 George of the Jungle movies. One
Brendan Fraser is a really underrated actor. It's
Yeah.
such a shame how Hollywood treated him. It's such a shame.
Well, he went through a lot of, outside of the movies, he went through a lot of hardship.
Yeah.
And it's sad, but I mean, he's making a comeback now because he's one of the stars.
Doom Patrol?
For Doom Patrol.
He's on?
Yeah, he's on Doom Patrol. He plays a robot who used to be a stunt car man, and he got into an accident. So sort of like the way Cyborg was. Cyborg was a young football player who got hurt in an accident, and his father put him together with cybernetic parts. But in this case, they transferred his brain to a robot body instead.
I'm sure there was another movie that I seen with Brendan Fraser. I think I seen it on TV a while ago. I know it's got different names to it. It's either called Encino Man or California Man or something. I know Pauly Shore's in it, and I think Sean Austin. It's basically these 2 teen dorks or something.
Yeah.
Like a caveman in the backyard or something, and it's Brendan Fraser, and try to pawn him off as being like the weird foreign exchange student or something.
Yeah, I saw that.
Old Link or something.
Yeah, I saw that as a kid. It was Encino Man, and there was there was Encino Man, and there was Biodome. There was a few Pauly Shore movies that came out when I was a kid, between like 1991 and 1999. But yeah, I remember seeing Encino Man because I lived in California at the time. So they had it in movie theaters, so I saw it. And I was just like, oh, I think I remembered that place, because it wasn't too terribly far away from where I had lived. But yeah, it's definitely one of those, he was in that when he was younger, and then he was in a few other movies, I think. There's this one where he plays like a rock star, a burgeoning rock star for like local shows and things like that. And he and his friends wanted to get their music played on the radio, but they thought that the best way in order to do that was to essentially hold the radio station hostage. So it's a comedy. At the end, they do get to play their music. It does get played on the radio, and a lot of people like them. And it also, you know, um, I was gonna say, it also just sort of like, they were in jail as well. They were able to play music in jail, sort of like sort of like how Johnny Cash, did a concert for men at a correctional facility. Oh, it's on fire. But yeah, sort of how he did that. That's how the movie ended. But it was sort of a comedic, hopefulness to it. But that's usually how like those types of movies ended. Setting fire to everything. If you weren't, oh, goodness. Yeah, but the movies in it before them are weird as well. They were weird as hell. Before like the 80s, all the way up until when movies started. A lot of them were weird. I mean, you have some classics and things like that, but yeah, like a lot of them were like super weird, yeah.
I mean, in terms of like weird bad movies, I would recommend typing in to the YouTube search engine the name Neil Breen. That guy is a genius, should I say. The guy's a genius. He's like one of the best bad movie creators ever made. Even better than Ed Wood. Man is just, my god. his stuff is just absolute nonsense, and it's hysterical.
Yeah.
It's painful. It's painful to watch. It's like really bad porn acting, but it's just so. It's hard to describe because the stories are nonsensical and the stories are almost the exact same.
Yeah.
There's always some like omnipotent super being who wants to take down the big bad evil government through means of hacking. And he's always got some weird ass powers or something, and he's like morally superior compared to everybody, and you know, it's weird.
Oh my goodness.
Type his name into the YouTube search engine. You will not regret it if you need a laugh. Because there's a lot of videos of his, you know, like compilations from his movies. A lot of movie reviews of his stuff, and yeah, that gives you a vibe about his stuff. Just watch those reviews, because that's all you'll need. Because I think to get hold of these movies are quite complicated to get hold of, because you have to do it online or something like that. I think he still uses AOL or something. He's like an architect in Vegas or something like that, but he's a movie director. He does it all. He stars in it, writes it, produces it, directs it, even does the catering. He does it all. But you gotta give the guy credit though for having that passion. I mean, it's something that he loves to do, so how can we judge him for that?
Yeah.
But they're hilariously awful. They're masterpieces in their own rights. All you would need to do is check up Fateful Findings, because my god, you'll never see anything like it. You'll watch it, you think, what on earth?
It's like, what is this? We have just enough time to do maybe 2. This one and 1 more stage.
Okay. Now, how long would you say that this game is? Did you say it takes about
2 hours, I would say.
Yeah.
Not terribly long. Yeah, not a terribly long game.
Yeah, we were talking about is it Edith Finch earlier? Talking about.
Yeah.
It's like a really intricate and beautifully done game, and it's like a really weird story, but it's like a really good indie game.
It is.
Albeit quite morbid, actually, I would say. But yeah, there'll be more Dream Daddy on Monday.
So you're trying to decide who, the barista, or...
I think I'm still to meet other daddies at the moment, because I think where I ended it last time, I think the daughter said something about having to speak to her teacher.
Yeah.
So we'll just need to see where the story goes. Mr. Coffee Shop. He's
Have you met all of the daddies yet?
I think I've met, like, was it Brian, the big lumberjack?
Oh, okay.
Bits
Yeah,
where you
don't.
do the Pokemon, the little Pokemon segment.
My sister, you'll see. My sister went for the teacher, so you're gonna meet all of the daddies, and then that's when you can really start to.
Because I've met, obviously, like I said, that the one at the park, the dude at the coffee shop, the creepy neighbor with the creepy kids, and the guy that is like your college buddy or something.
Yeah,
He's kind of like the bruh.
bro.
I'm totally not seen you since college, bruh.
This will be the last little level that we do.
Big snakes been with. Oh, that's just
Oh, it's asking.
my mind went elsewhere. Apologies.
Well, Mira is just texting Coco. That's Coco, and she's asking them, hey, how many snakes would you say it would take to eat you out? You know, and gotta fight in a small room. And he's like 1,000. Well, honestly, this is like text messages between me and my sisters.
Twins evil.
You'll see. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It always makes me laugh that immediately after, even talking to Mira, Coco just like completely and totally just like falls asleep, just knocks out immediately, and I'm just like, same, Coco. Geckos. Very nice, relaxing music. There's something else that I saw recently. There's a YouTube page that I follow that's called like Alpha Beta Games, and basically they go through, like betas of games, like like if the game is in beta, it's still like being, for testing and things like that, they'll go through it.
Because I keep forgetting on that. If games were in development and that, is it beta first, then it's the alpha? Yeah.
Yeah, beta first, alpha next, and then
Release.
well, yeah,
Usually.
beta usually it's beta, alpha, and then they'll have something like
Demo or something,
well, they'll have a demo.
I miss getting game demos. There's not enough game demos now. I really wish that they still done that because, how else would you know that you're gonna get a game? That's that's how you used to find out whether it'd be worth, getting a game.
Hmm. Yeah. Alright, well, that's it for Donut County. We've reached the end of our stream for today. I hope that you enjoyed the soft, soothing sounds of Donut County and our conversation. um, on Monday, just like Nicholas says, this is a little bit of an announcement, but on Monday, just like Nicholas says, she's going to be doing Dream Daddy. And on next Friday, I am going to be playing um, Gree with Nicola backseat driving again. We're probably gonna have to make a little bit of a change to our schedule because we had Sims 4 that we were going to play. Um, me and Nicola together. But what ends up happening is that we won't be able to do that. Because we just found out, or I just found out that we can't do share play and broadcast. And in order for us to do it, I would have to buy uh, Sims 4, but it's okay, you know. It's fine. Nicola will be playing The Sims, so she's planning on playing it on a Monday. So currently we're gonna be doing Gree, and then we're going to um, Nicola's gonna be trying to finish out Dream Daddy. So, but I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope that you guys are doing well. This has been a very nice and relaxing Saturday. Oh, not Saturday. Even my days are messed up. It's been a nice and relaxing Friday, but I hope everybody's okay, and you guys have a good rest of your day, okay? Or night,
Have
depending on when you
have a
watch
good
it.
have a good weekend.
Yeah, have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend.